I'm veering towards paddle now because my golf game's just good.
Hey, paddle's the one, you know. I need to start. I need to pick it up.
I'm scared to start because I won't stop. Bruv, racket games, I'm up there.
No, not now.
Bruv.
Do you know how much you have to move when you're playing paddle? Bro.
What are you saying? He's going
I was saying.
He's going to look like QPR again. What are you saying?
You said it.
Okay, what did I look like at QPR? Who did I play like at QPR? Give me a name. Give me a name who I was like at QPR. Because you said when I was a kid.
I don't want to disrespect anyone.
You said when I was a kid I was like Bellingham. Who was I like when I was finishing?
Doug Roovey.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Rio Presents. I'm here with my main man Joel and my main man Jody Morris. Joel, you missed it, innit? You missed it.
It's funny because I do talk to Jody though. I haven't heard from him since Arsenal beat Chelsea 5-0 last season. But
is that twice you're going to mention that now?
Did you see it last time?
Yeah.
You didn't say anything. Yeah. That's why I had to bring it back.
Why are you always on like smoke straight away?
Because that's
why are you always on like you versus someone all the time?
I've never played the game professionally, so this is the best that I can do. I'm living the dream, man.
I don't understand it. You got to just chill out, man. Do you know what I mean? But listen, we're going to get stuck into some of the biggest stories that go on around football every week on Rio Presents. So make sure you stay here. We've got Jody on this week, one of my old teammates. Grew up together from England youth teams, from district football even. Last week we had Owen Hargreaves. Before that, when you weren't here again in Portugal, we had Jody and Lescott, who's actually on the coaching team with England now, of Lee Carsley, which we'll touch on later. So loads of new faces coming on week in, week out. Stay tuned. Make sure you don't miss.
Also, don't forget, people, you can listen to this podcast on all audio platforms.
Yeah, I've started jogging again.
No way.
Yeah, I've started jogging. And I listen. The way I get through my 45 minutes worth of jogging, or 30 sometimes, is putting on the pod. It's so much like, I can't look at the clock. I don't know about anyone else, but looking at the clock when you're on the treadmill, man, is an absolute menace. I feel intimidated. It hurts me. Yeah. I feel I've done 15 minutes and I'm on 5. Like, I feel it's an absolute mind killer. But when you got the pod on, your t-shirt or towel over all the numbers, bro, it goes so quick.
What are you doing? 5Ks, 3Ks, what? Well,
no, lower than that, bro. I'm just above a walk right now.
Oh, really?
and I'm in bits after it. You see the way I walked in today? I was on the coach. I went on last night, and I've done 30 minutes last night, sweating buckets. Yeah. At just over a walking pace. I've done 2K in 30 minutes.
Yeah, see, people might not understand why, but I know that your back sometimes it's not been the same. So.
Since what, QPR?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
Oh, man, that's really good, though. But obviously as well, we want to talk about England. Lee Carsley, first game, good result against Ireland. I want to bring it back to you guys, like playing for England. What did it mean to you guys? Obviously, you came through the ranks. You got in trouble a little bit, which we're going to touch on. But what did it mean to you?
It meant everything. I think lucky enough, I wasn't lucky enough to play at senior level, but playing from England schoolboys all the way up to under 21s, I think when you hear the national anthem, when you see everybody from different clubs up and down the country joining up, the level of training sometimes was class. But yeah, just putting on the shirt and like the 3 lines. I know it may sound cliche, but represent your country. I don't think it gets much better.
Did it give you an indication of, all right, you know what, I'm going to make this because I'm looking at this guy and I reckon I can do what he's doing?
Just on that point, it's a good point you make there, because it's competitive when you go in there. Owen Hargreaves on one of the last pods said about 25 sharks in a change room. It's similar to that even at youth level. And you have to remember, Jody Morris is my age exactly at school and stuff, so I knew about him from district levels. He was the best player around in London, maybe the country, for a few years, as at youth level, from under like 14s up, and like going into the England squads, he was like, rah. So you're going in there thinking, rah, I've got to get to this guy's level. Where am I? That is the benchmark, etc. So John Curtis, like there's names that you used to think about and think, right, they're the ones. He was one of those guys from like 14, 15 years old. So when you go there, it's difficult. But as soon as you get there, you touched on hearing the national anthem. Whether it's I went in, I think, under 16, 17s. I didn't play under 15s. Didn't get picked.
You was growing, weren't you?
Yeah, I was Bambi on ice at them times. Really? Yeah, I was all slipping all out. People thought I had ice skates on.
Yeah, well, when I first knew him, he wasn't big Rio. He was a lot that, like, your growth spurt was like crazy. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he was like a attacking midfielder, just going past people for fun when we like Blackheath days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
who would I have been like today if in that role? Give me a name.
I think he was a bit like Jude.
Oh God, I could have been Jude
early until you then started going further back.
I could have been Jude. Oh my God.
I thought you was. Yeah,
Is it?
I used to hate playing against you. Yeah.
Oh man,
like
I fucked up going back to defence. You know, I could have been Jude before Jude.
You say that.
Is that what you say? Is that what I was like?
Yeah.
Because you don't really know yourself really what you were seeing.
Yeah, I think you travelled with the ball well. You knew the game. You weren't as strong and as tall, so I could bully you a little bit.
Did he have skills in his locker?
Yeah, no, he could. Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And even like I remember him playing against our youth team at Chelsea, and I watched him destroy our youth team as like an under-16. He played in like the 10 role, behind off the front too.
Oh yeah, that's the day I thought I could become a professional footballer.
Yeah.
That exact day at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
I come off. I had to get the train there from school in a school uniform, and it's all like youth team players, 18-year-olds and stuff who have been trained with 13s and whatnot, who train every day. And I got there, and I weren't even meant to play, but all the other boys went on tour, so the regular players. I got to play. Frank got to play, and I played, and I just came off the pitch thinking, these guys, this is Stamford Bridge. I've done it here, and I think I can make it now.
Wow.
I'm going to be like, I think I'll be a Premier League player.
You should have felt like that, because even me, knowing that you was a top player, you surprised me doing that to people 3 years older than you.
I want to bring it back to the England game that's just been played. Lee Carsley's first game as head coach. Obviously, he's the interim. What did you make of his first game? I'll go with you first, Jody.
Comfortable, but to be honest with you, it was nice to see some of the players, like I think Grealish, who certainly should have gone to the tournament in the summer. Nice to see Anthony Gordon getting his game time, and people like Trent playing as well as he did and being as nice and comfortable in his main role. But nothing surprised me, to be honest. I thought we'd beat him. If anything, I thought we'd beat him by more.
I think, like Jody said, we expected him to win. I don't think he's got 6 games coming up. There's no way we expect him to get anything but 6 wins, right? But I think it's the way he does it is the important bit. And I think that first half was refreshing, that he actually had players playing in their position that they are accustomed to playing, but with freedom to express themselves. Jack Grealish getting the ball in the number 10 position, coming off of different areas where you go, that looks like, hold on, is that Aston Villa Jack? Do you know what I mean? Or Trent, he looks like Liverpool's Trent again. Declan Rice looking, that's Arsenal and stroke West Ham Declan, with a bit of freedom to run up the pitch. So all these things that are factored in, I think, is like, that's down to a manager. And you've been a manager, so you'd know better than me. But like, how does a manager go about actually unlocking the best from these players?
Well, I think first and foremost, you've got to look at those players, and they're going to get a confidence boost instantly. One, because they're starting the game. But it's nicely entwined as well, because a lot of those players that did impress or got the confidence boost from Lee Carsley, it actually had like a nice little knock-on effect to affect the other one's game. So if you think about Trent going inside into midfield from the right back spot and coming off the line a little bit, so he's able to open up all his passing options, that in turn gives the likes of Dec that license to maybe go forward. And I think especially in the first half, we saw when you've got legs like Dec and can cover the pitch, it's nice. It's nice to be able to go and affect the game further up the pitch, whether it be him running off the ball or like getting his goal, same as Jack. I like the way that there was a nice little knock-on effect with someone like Trent going in, adding that little bit of security in front of the two centre-halves. Okay, you can sometimes say that you might leave a little bit of room maybe to the side of Mark and Harry Maguire in behind, but if you do it properly and you do it right, you can stop any of the problems that will come if you turn the ball over, if you do it right. And I think that's what they've done.
And it's only one game, and it's one good 45 minutes, which is fine, and I'm happy with that. But I just think that if you look at it and go, right, well, what was we missing from Gareth Southgate? I think it's that freedom to unlock players in an England shirt is what was missing the whole time. For us to take that next step to win something, maybe it's maybe one of the elements that it could have been. Lee Carsley has shown in 45 minutes, and listen, I'm not saying right that's it, but Lee Carsley has shown in 45 minutes that I can get players to play better or more like what we see in the Premier League, and I think that's a huge thing. I think the best teams, the best national teams, have players that don't look different in a national team shirt to a club shirt, and that's been England's problem for a while. Like
I say since your era as well. To be
our
honest,
era, the whole of our era.
Yeah.
But I mean, bar one or two. Do you know what I mean? Michael Owen, he's an England player.
Yeah.
David Beckham, he's an England player. Like the other players,
early years of Rooney.
Yeah, but all the others are like, oh, no, they're club players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you look at, like you said, them players that we just named there, and you're going, rah, they played as well, if not better, than they've been playing for their club at the moment.
I think I've got to ask about his reputation. Jody, you would have come across him a lot more. What is Lee Carsley's reputation as a coach?
Oh, it's very, very high. Well respected. I think if you look at the different types of roles that he's held, I think that always stands you in good stead to become a more rounded coach, manager. I came across him at Man City as the under-18.
Did you beat him?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, yeah. Of course I did.
There weren't anyone I didn't beat as under-18 manager. I really liked his company as well, even after the games. And I met him at a Premier League conference and spoke to him just about his coaching journey, because at that time he was obviously working at Man City, and they had a slightly different structure to how we used to work at Chelsea, where I used to have full autonomy on how I would want to coach, what I wanted to coach within the realms. Don't get me wrong, I couldn't go in one day and start coaching long ball, but whereas Lee had to follow a very much more structured coaching style, where he would have to sort of coach segments of maybe 6 week periods of, right, I'm going to coach playing out the back for the next 6 weeks.
This is at Man City, yeah?
At Man City, yeah. So I think that's the format in which they've stuck to ever since Pep has been in. And obviously they have a director of football, which then filters down, and I think it was Jason Wilcox at the time that was
academy manager
in charge of Lee. So I think he's and we also need to recognise that I think he's turned down a couple of jobs, Lee, that maybe weren't right for him at the time. I think there was one at Brentford. I think he got offered a job and turned it down. I think he's turned down maybe the Ireland job. So yeah, he's well respected and obviously been very successful. And you only look at his recent stint at the under-21s where he done great and produced a good style of football as well as winning. His Welsh.
I think you can always tell as well, about a manager is how the players talk about him. I mean, Anthony Gordon's a really good case, because you listen to the way he talks about Southgate, and you listen to the way he talks about Carsley. And I know Southgate is a bit more personal because he didn't play him, but how he talks about the way that not just Lee Carsley as a person, but also the way that they approach the football and games, be dominant, to be the authoritative team, be aggressive, be on the front foot, play good football, all of the things that they say, and they love going. By the way, you don't see many of them 21 players pull out. We played in 21 teams where a lot of the squad would go, I'm playing Premier League football, I ain't going to play in like under-21s.
Really? Well,
they look down their nose at it a little bit.
You would pull out of under-21 football?
There'd be players that would do it.
And even at sometimes you'd get encouraged to. I remember at Chelsea, and to be honest with you, I probably looking back now, I'd say I'd regret it. There was a few under-21 squads where that I was not lent on, but kind of going, do you want to go? Do you have to go? And not all the time, but there was certainly a couple of times that I went with the people at Chelsea to saying, look, we can say you've picked up a knock today and you're not going.
What about yourself? It was a bit different for you though, isn't it? Because
I only played I think 3 or 4 21 games. I was fortunate I was able to jump straight into the first team. We were talking before, Steven Gerrard done the same. There's some players that don't even play. Like I think Rooney didn't even play a 21s game. Michael Owen might have played a couple. But it's more like the 21s, and I understand it, if you're playing Premier League football and then you're asked to go and play under 21s football for England, it's like there's only like 5,000 people in the stadium. I'm playing in front of 50, 60, 70 every week. Like, it's a bit of a come down, do you know what I mean? For your ego more than anything. But there is a benefit to going because you understand what it's like. International football is very different, even if it's 21s, the style of football, the pace of the game is different. But I think we've seen the comments from Unai Emery about
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers about why is he going, almost like dismissing the under-21s, like he shouldn't be there, he's too good for it. Yeah, there could be a case for that ability-wise, but I think there's a lot to be said for, can he go there and present himself as a really good human being? What's he like around the camp? Is he likeable? What's his work ethic like? Is he very professional? Does he apply himself? Can he take in tactical sessions and understand what what you want from him as a player in a team structure, etc. So many different layers to it that the first team manager, Lee Carsley, will be asking the 21s manager now.
Yeah.
Is he all of them things? Have you ticked all them boxes? So it's not just about can he play.
I think that's important though that you touch on that, because I think, and you go back to maybe Dan Ashworth's stint, I think at the FA, he certainly seemed to join up all the age groups, and I know that Lee had a really good relationship with Gareth Southgate, and we go back to my sort of day in the under-21s. It was Peter Taylor was the first manager that I had, and Glen Hoddle was the first team manager, and they were really, really tight. Glen is the one that appointed Peter as his under-21 manager, and you knew, like Rio did, like Steven Gerrard did, you play well and you perform and show that you're at a level that's maybe above the under-21s, and you'd be moved on quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good that you listen, depending on what happens long-term wise with Lee Carsley, I think Lee Carsley would always have a good relationship with whoever the under-21 manager is going to be, because he's been through the FA England system, and I think that's one of the things that have been encouraged for years, and I think it's something, you're right, Unai Emery might not maybe respect the under-21s as much as others, but I think that's a really important point that Rio made, is that it's not just maybe what suits Aston Villa. Sometimes it's the kid might want to go and prove himself at international level. I think he's only played a couple of times at under-21. If he goes and does well in one of the games, it might be one of the ones that Lee thinks, oh yeah, I can move him on. If he goes there and maybe doesn't apply himself, doesn't show the right attitude, then he might find himself in the under-21s for a bit longer.
Also, you play well though. You play well there. It can propel you to be like trusted more. Anthony Gordon's a great case.
Yeah.
He wins the tournament with 21s and is player of the tournament. It's like, okay, well, his next step is obviously there. Has to do well with his club, yeah, but doesn't have to jump through hoops and be absolutely player of the year.
Incredible.
Do well enough, because we know you can do it at international level at 21s, and that might transfer straight to the first team.
And also tournament football.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
winning an international tournament is difficult no matter what level you play at. And I remember speaking to Ashley Cole during the under-21 tournament, and he said that Lee Carsley was so big on the harmony and how the group was, as far as sticking together behind the scenes and going after winning a trophy. It's difficult to do no matter what. That's a big
factor in him,
no matter what the level is. Yeah,
like just that there, like you can be a great Premier League manager, but can you cultivate a culture and an ambience in a squad for 4 weeks? Intense, seeing players every day, because that's not on your resume. It's not on your resume as a Premier League coach. That's why you look at Spain, their under-21 manager, who knew all the players, who's been in that system for a long time, goes into the first team and goes and wins it. There is something to be said that somebody that's been in the system might be better placed, even that's done well as a 21s, than even someone who's done really well with Premier League even.
Well, even other leagues, you say it all the time. When you went away for England camp, you didn't really enjoy it.
No. It's hard to enjoy it. Well, we enjoyed it. We had some good times, to be fair. Yeah.
Well, in the under-21s, in our day, it was the first couple of days could be maybe viewed as a bit of a stag do, really.
Yeah, it was.
Can you enlighten the listeners and the viewers, please?
Well, my first under-21 group was Ben Thatcher was the captain, who's lively. But yeah, the first couple of days.
Wait, what does lively mean?
Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon he's arguably one of the maddest I've been around.
Yeah, first in the bar for sure. But back in those days, it was like seen as like normal. Like even Pete would give Thatcher, who was the captain at the time, whip money and go, right, just be back at 7:00 tonight. Like we're leaving the hotel at 12:00.
Whip money.
Yeah, for the drinks. So he'd give him the money for the team to go and have drinks, and he'd just say, make sure you're back in the hotel by this time. It's a bit like when we went to Italy. Under 21s, we had to go to Italy and beat Italy. We did. Kieran Dyer, man of the match, I think he scored. Yeah. We won that game, and then the manager went the next morning, guys, you can go out, do what you want, but the coach is leaving at, say, 5 p.m. So everyone be back here at 5 p.m. So, like, 12 o'clock, we're all sitting there, itching, like going, where are we going to go? Someone, right, there's a bar. Well, loads of the lads go down there. So I'm talking
where
like,
is this?
It's in Italy. So it's like Danny Murphy, Jamie Carragher, Frank Lampard, Kieran Dyer, Ben Thatcher, myself, maybe a couple of other guys as well. We're in there, and them names there, we all stay there drinking all day in the sun. Then we must be, I don't know, 9 or 10 pints in, and then someone goes, Peter Taylor's coming, who's the manager? So I run down to the toilet out of the way, and as I come back up, he's got like Ben Thatcher and going, right, all of you get back to the hotel now, you're a disgrace, I told you. And I'm just watching from afar. And then I remember him trying to pull Ben Thatcher and say, right, come on. And Thatcher's going, whoa, hold on, let me finish my pint.
No way.
Like, unbelievable, right? And then he sees me out the corner. He's like, I said, no, I wasn't even here. I've just turned up. But he said, no, I know you was here.
Yeah.
So we all had to go back to the hotel, give him our passports. We were meant to go and watch the first team. Remember the game where Wright hits the post and they beat Italy 2-0, I think it was.
98?
To qualify,
To qualify for.
So we were meant to be going and watching that team. Us lads who were there drinking were told, right, give me your passports. You're going to go on a separate coach and go into the airport and wait and miss the game. No. So all of us went. Frank Lampard, I think it was, and Kieran Dyer were on the coach. They hadn't been caught. I remember Thatch was really drunk at the time, and we were standing there with our bags waiting for the other coach. The main coach with the team was leaving, and Thatch went, I can't believe them two have got away with it. And the manager
snitched on them.
Yeah, man, snitched on them. And then the
wow.
manager went and got Lampard and Kieran. I was buzzing because me and Frank was at West Ham. I was thinking, if I go back to West Ham on my own and I'm going to get done, Frank's got away with it, it's out of order. So I was buzzing that he got done as well. And then we all went to the airport and had to sit there, watch the game in a little private room. But it was like, the 21s was like, you licensed to go and just have a boo.
Yeah, and by the way, that's not anything towards Peter Taylor. His training sessions were great. Like, we had good teams and all that, but it was just a different era. Like, I know you mentioned Carragher there. I've had some unbelievable England trips with Jamie. Even one of them at Swindon, weirdly enough, is one of the ones that you was involved in. You didn't actually come out, but
good boy, see?
Peter Taylor caught me and Cara trying to get into a nightclub on the development where the hotel was in Swindon, of all places, in our England trackies. And he just caught us in the queue. We was queuing up, and all of a sudden...
Queuing in the England trackie?
Why are you doing that? Why was you wearing the trackie?
Well, because we were away with England.
They've got nothing else to go. They got their own clothes, no civilian clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought you was trying to show
you
play for England.
You got to turn up to the camp in your tracksuits.
Gear because we're on England duty, and then we're trying to get in a nightclub. It's about 4 days away from the game, but all I heard is, "What the fucking hell are you doing here?" And he booted Cara up his arse. Like, get back to the hotel, and I just started walking back quietly and just thought, "Oh no, I can't believe we've been caught."
But you know, when you go through this, because you've had a couple of stories, you know, especially with Glen Hoddle, obviously Peter Taylor, do you look and you go, oh my gosh, this could be it for me in an England top?
Well, yeah, because after that, when I got done in Italy like that, and all the lads, we were on the plane actually early before the first team, which Glen Hoddle was the manager of, came on. When the first team came on, Glen Hoddle had obviously been told by Peter Taylor, and he looked at us with pure disdain, like disappointed. Like,
and he'd make you feel. He
was great at that.
I had a massive fear factor of Hoddle. He was the manager who gave me my debut at Chelsea, but obviously he then went on to become England manager. But even to this day now, I still call him Gaffer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
when you see him
as well.
Yeah. But yeah, huge fear factor, and he had a way of making you feel that you'd let him down, let yourself down and all that, which was good.
I mean, before I go into speaking about how you were as a player and as a coach to see the similar traits, I just want to ask, Glen Hoddle, there's these myths that he's like a master in training.
It's not a myth.
He's a bit like Zola.
It's not a myth.
What?
He was unbelievable. I still thought he was the best player at Chelsea when I used to train with the first team as like a 16-year-old. I still thought he's the best player here. This is with
Zola,
Ruud Gullit and Mark Hughes, and Zola weren't there then.
Oh, okay.
And Zola still wouldn't have been in front of Glen Hoddle in training for me.
Way.
I'm telling you.
He used to do mad. He used to put backspin. He's like a snooker player on a football pitch. He used to put backspin on the ball and check, and he used to make noises when he kicked the ball.
Yeah, it did.
Mad noise, remember?
Do that little
and then kick his foot on the floor like that with his tongues flapping. He had the mad detail on everything.
Is he doing that because that's just who he is, or is he showing you there's levels to this?
He was so far. He was so far ahead of the game. Like
the snooker analogy is because of the way he was putting spin and check on the ball, right?
Yeah.
And almost like chalk on his boots, like it was a joke, right? But it was almost, he would see 3, 4, 5, 6 shots down, plays down the line. He was in training. He's the best coach I've ever had. Best coach.
No way.
Like the detail was mesmerising. Like you'd set you up to do this, that, and the other because we were trying to get him behind that right back who's not a great defender. We're going to set the play up like this, and he'd do training sessions to exploit that. That's probably normal now, but back then there weren't people doing this. He was bringing stuff to free at the back. He was doing sweepers and that when people were thinking, rah, last time I spoke about sweeper was Beckenbauer. Like he just was so far ahead. He coached how you saw him as a player. And I think that's an important thing. Like I don't know what your style was like. And Lee Carsley's, he was a bit of a dog. He just running around, putting himself about a little bit. I mean, no disrespect, but he wasn't the Glen Hoddle type footballer. Yeah. But he coaches now, different to the way he played. What was you like?
I was a little bit of everything. I think I worked hard. I had to because I was physically not as good as others. So you have to kind of work hard and make sure that you put the work in. My teams looked like that, even though I would maybe have some teams that were maybe better talented than opposition that we would maybe playing against. But I used to pride myself on, I don't care if we've got the best team and we're battering teams 6, 7, 8-0. I still want to run more than the opposition. And I remember playing against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and we went down to 10 men with about 15 minutes to go. But they battered us. It was the year they won the Champions League, but they battered us at Stamford Bridge. It was maybe a bit of an equal game in the first half.
This is when Frank Lampard was
Yeah, so they battered us. And I remember being mesmerised with how much Kimmich and Thiago wanted to get on the ball. So it wasn't just, I'll stand still and dictate the game. It was sprinting all over the pitch just to get a one touch, just to get on the ball. And then I remember looking at the numbers the next day and going, they've both run over 13k, and Thiago come off with about 8 minutes to go. Wow. And I'm like, they've battered us. They went up to one man more than us, but yet that work ethic and willingness to get on the ball doesn't just come by trying to defend or get after the ball. You can do it whilst dictating games.
Yeah, and people always think like players that are ball playing or teams that have a lot of possession, they're not running, they're not moving. You've got to actually run so far and so much. But going back to your point about coaching, and the best coaches like Hoddle can go and show players who maybe are a little bit kind of, this isn't your strength, but I can make it better through showing you the right pictures. People think Fergie wasn't that. Sir Alex Ferguson, there's maybe a couple of things in my 12, 13 years I was at the club, he showed me as a defender. Never spoke to me about defending.
Sorry, hang on a minute. So all that time at United...
Yeah. He never coached me on defending.
He's a manager, wasn't he? Not
he
a coach.
Was a manager. Yeah.
Well, I get that, but sometimes people will still give you.
Yeah, he gave me a couple. He gave me
nuggets.
one great tip. He gave me was Luis Suárez. I remember Luis Suárez is in crazy form when he was at Liverpool, one of the best strikers on the planet at the time, and he began. So obviously that was a detail we needed to address. And he just said to me, when you get him, he will get you 1v1 because that's what he's good at. You isolate a defender somewhere, you'll get that at some point. Do not nibble. Do not tempt. Do not go in and try and nibble the ball. Make him have to beat you. So wait, delay, say, come on, now you make a decision. And more times than not, he got the ball and turned out and played to someone.
Got you.
Whereas if I went to nibble, he's a bit like Nani. They were reactive dribblers. He'd react to you nibbling to then go on your weakness from there. And he was brilliant. And the ricochets he would get, he was brilliant at it. So, yeah.
But some players need more coaching than others. And I'm not saying it just because you're here, but I reckon Fergie maybe would have spoke to other defenders maybe a little bit more than you and felt that he had to coach them more. There are some players that you're lucky enough to coach or be in charge of that you kind of know that you don't have to keep hitting home the same messages. Or some of the best coaching is letting players be and let them have a little bit of freedom. Some of the best coaching is actually not saying anything.
That's unique. Speaking about coaching, players as well in their positions, Trent Alexander Arnold. First time he's played in a competitive right back position for England since 2021. Wow. I mean, we can all agree.
I didn't know that.
We can all agree he looked really good in that, especially in the first half where they all looked good. But those chicken zingers my man was pinging, bruv. Whoa.
Well, he's a world-class player on the ball, isn't he? I think
that's never been in question.
No,
is it?
you can always look at him defensively, where you say if you play against better opposition, would another manager maybe look at a Kyle Walker? But I think 95% of the teams that you're going to come up against, I think Trent Alexander is a world-class footballer, and let's get it right, has played in the toughest competition in the Champions League and won it and
played well,
dictated.
I'm going to have to stop you two there just for a second. We agree on the ball, brilliant, but we cannot lie that there are defensive frailties there sometimes as well.
Absolutely.
I don't want us to,
No,
because he's had one good half and all.
No, I think but I don't think that's ever been. I think when you talk about Trent,
to me, it's criminal at the moment to say that Kyle Walker, you would pick him over Kyle Walker. Me personally,
no, but I think what we have to get away from is saying that, there's one size fits all. It's not that.
Agreed.
When you've got a big squad, utilise 23 players, and you've got 23 top players who all believe they should play. If you're playing against Real Madrid or you're playing against France with Mbappe out there ain't no one better about than Kyle Walker, because he locks them guys down. He's shown it consistently. So why are you not going to play him in those games?
Yeah, so
but then the other games. But the other games, the other games where you're going to have to play against the teams that we had in the group stages of the Euros, who aren't as good or who aren't going to give you as much threat the other way, but you're going to have to unlock them. Cole can't do that. Cole will tell you he can't do it. Cole will say you're probably better off playing Trent.
I was going to say you say that, but Trent didn't have the best of games, but he played in midfield. So, okay, cool. I hear what you're saying.
I don't think you. I think you've got to use a squad like a Swiss Army knife, and you've got different people that can do things.
Yeah, and also who else played well? Like, let's get it right. If we're talking about England that's just gone, who else?
None of them played,
and he played out of position.
Yeah, who played?
He was a midfielder.
No, but who played up
Who
to
said
their?
that?
Who played to their potential in England teams? Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah, I think Kobe did. I think Mark Gay.
That's it.
Yeah,
think,
Saka. Maybe
Saka,
at times got to his level at times.
Yeah, at times.
But you've given me three players
cool,
out of 20. Out of 20, what? 5 or 26?
I think
2 of them never started.
I think Declan could have been better, obviously, let's be honest. But yeah, I do think that Trent was in that squad that didn't play well. He was in the lower echelon of the people that didn't play well. Simple as.
But again, another thing as well, he's not playing his position. He's playing centre mid. Hold on, he's playing centre mid in a tournament. Do you know how hard it is?
Wait. Screaming that he's doing it for Liverpool.
No, it's fine.
He plays it for Liverpool. We should try him there. You were screaming he should play there.
No. I wasn't saying start in midfield. I've never said start Trent in centre midfield. Never. I've never said that. I've never said that.
Can we check the clips?
I've never said start him. I'm saying when you're from right back at Liverpool, when he's played well and going into midfield, he's never ever started in midfield.
No, yeah.
And that's where his position to start is. He may end up being able to do that, but in a system that enables him to do that. I don't think that, and I just think that. Do you know how hard it is to go into a tournament and play well in your own position?
For Trent,
in your normal position. To go into a tournament and to play in a position that you don't play regular.
In a team that's underperforming.
It's difficult, man.
So you're telling me that you weren't happy to see him start in midfield and you weren't excited by that prospect?
No, I said he shouldn't start there. Go on BBC when I was on the TV. I was saying I wouldn't start Trent.
What, after the second or third game?
No,
or
before.
Game 1?
I was saying Declan start with Kobe Mainoo.
Okay.
And Jude as a number 10 or
You don't seem convinced.
No, we'll check it out, man, because...
Bro, get in the comments.
Jody,
know I didn't say that.
Jody, you're going to be on this show a lot. You're going to realise Rio likes to... He does a lot of this, man.
I've never said I would start Trent centre midfield.
And you see
he may grow into that, but I just never said that. Not when you had the players that we had. You got Kobe Mainoo, you got Declan, you got Foden, you've got Jude Bellingham. I would have started all of them before him.
So if we are looking at Trent then, from what you've seen... with your coaching experience, what is he good at? And what can he improve on? What have you liked? What have you not liked?
I think he's more than good with his passing range. I think he's, as I said, I think on the ball, he's a world-class footballer. And I know we've touched on the defensive frailties, but for someone who can, when he's facing the play, and he can see the game, which is why I always like him at right back, because it's a lot easier to get the ball facing the play, and when you come off the line, you're not under as much pressure, I don't think. So whenever he has time on the ball, when you have the ability that he has, he can unlock
anything
defences. Now, whether sometimes he maybe goes for them a little bit too much is another question. But for me, I think he's a world-class footballer on the ball, and I would love him to be on the ball a lot more when we're playing against teams that we should beat, because I think I think
There's no one else with that range.
No, absolutely
Passing.
not. And if you've got players like Gordon did the other night, where you look like you want to run in behind, like he has at Liverpool, when you've got players that want to give you options, the best players who can pass, that's when they get to show their prowess on the ball. Now, yes, are we going to worry about him going up against some of the best players in the world? Yeah, but I think that's what you have a squad for.
I think there's two things that I think have to be really closely looked at and addressed with Trent if you're going to start him in midfield. One of them is, like Jody just touched on, you need runners. There's pointless having him move into midfield if there's no runners, or good movement penetrating the opposition's back line, right? Because he's the one who can play them balls like we saw against Ireland. And the other thing is, coach him or sort the system out that he does not receive the ball with his back to play. That's the biggest problem in his game in that position. If he goes to the ball with his back to play, that's alien to me. And I was actually someone, if people said, is comfortable with the ball. But going to the ball with not knowing what's behind you, but the angles that he needs to come on the ball, like someone like Busquets or Toni Kroos, the way they come onto the ball, they drop into the little half positions where they're getting it side on, where all the one touch and they see the game.
He was poor at that during the Euros, man.
Yeah, but I think that's, again, that's down to him, but also that's down to coaching. Like, there's things like fundamentals and non-negotiable. Don't go straight onto the ball. Like if I that will be in your head then, so you don't and it's to coach him, whether that was relayed to him or he didn't understand it, but those are the two things that I'd be looking at if I was coaching him in that framework.
I think he's the perfect fit for coming into midfield from the right back spot, which
totally
I know we touched on it earlier, that I think also releases like a Deck or a Mainu to then go higher as well, which another thing that I think we struggled with in the summer was midfielders that are able to affect the game higher up the pitch.
Lee Carsley found a way of making some of our players just look really much better and look like the players we see him in the Premier League. I touched on that before, but it felt like I was watching a little throwback of a Grealish at Villa.
It was against Ireland, though.
Yeah, I agree.
It is. I agree. But at the same time, we were going into games in the Euros against teams we should be banging away and putting away quickly and struggling, bruv. So don't tell me it's just Ireland because they're rubbish.
Because if you look at the qualifying stages, Southgate's flying. So if, for example, you're saying this is a tournament, I can understand.
Yeah, the pressure's different.
The pressure's different. But against Ireland in Nations League, which, no disrespect to me, still a friend.
But you still got to do it.
Agreed.
So, I don't know. But before we move on, I was just going to say, probably the closest player, though, passing range that we've seen to David Beckham, right?
Yeah. We've got an interview with Beck's coming up and we talk about some stuff.
Rio.
Yeah, we got a little.
For what? TNT?
Nah, bro. For Rio meets.
Brother. Ain't you got my number no more?
No. There's the time and the place. You know what it was? I wanted you there, because I like the backup, But you know what it was? It was a numbers thing. Security was high. And they said, listen, there's only certain numbers.
Jody.
So it only amounted to like the guys behind the camera.
Did it go well though? Was it like MI5? Did it go well?
Bit nervous I was as well.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good.
Nervous? It's your teammate.
Nah, that's really good stuff.
Not to get it right, innit?
So hang on a minute. So that means that this week you got the big boys coming out, right? So you're starting off with what? Cristiano?
Yeah.
Is this Cristiano week?
Yeah. So that's dropping this week. Obviously, he's dropped a few bits from the interview we done on his YouTube channel that has absolutely smashed all the records you can imagine. 60-something million already in like 10 days or 2 weeks. It's nuts, right? And he put a video out yesterday after a couple of hours. He was done at like 1.5-2 million straight away. Like he's just
that was good.
He's got mad impact. But
wait, he rates goals, massive and gigs.
You saw that, did you?
Yeah, I thought it was sick.
So we've done that a little like who winner stays on. Like Scholes stayed on for a good time.
He picked like the United players over a few of the Madrid players that I thought he would.
He picked Benzema over Mbappe as well.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was Mbappe. I did see it. I saw that on socials this morning.
I thought that was interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see his take on like who he thinks is good and stuff like that. Obviously, yours truly won it. So.
Yeah, those puppy dog guys, man. Come on, man. Please pick me.
I was begging it.
I remember they won the league in I can't remember what year it was, but I was on holiday with all the St Johnstone boys, and I flew back into Manchester to see you. We all went out, and me, you, Gaz, and Cristiano got in the back of like a Viano, and everybody was asking him where is he going to go to, and he got so frustrated, like, because everyone kept going, don't leave Cristiano, where are you going, blah blah blah. He kept getting asked, and he had a bit of an outburst, and he went, stop asking me questions, if he asks, I answer. Like, about him. And I remember at the time going, God, he liked him, and he went, if he asks me, I answer, if not, stop asking me. But I remember coming away from that going, he loves him. Because
I snuck through, I went through Becker production, and I got to see the Cristiano interview in advance. I have to say, your one, by the way, I've never seen Cristiano so comfortable doing an interview in my life. No gas. Like, he literally, it was mates. It was like you two, you know, him swearing at him whatever, and I just thought, I think,
you know what was good about doing it, and that's why I was excited to do it. I think it was nice to see Cristiano on camera the way that I remember him.
Yes.
Like, as a teammate, and that, like, yes, he's got an ego the size of the universe. Yes, he's got pride, and he's determined, and he's like tunnel vision on what he does. But at the same time, he's somebody that could laugh at himself, take the myth out of himself, and like one of the lads.
We've never seen that.
You don't really see it.
Yeah, I haven't. And it's good that, like, people, I've been one of them in the past where you can question the ego, or there might be certain things that you kind of don't like, but you have to say the ego can be a driving force. Yeah, it's obviously 100%. One of the things that has pushed him to be one of the greatest players to ever live.
Well, that's what's pushed him to get over 900 goals. Like, how...
Honestly.
He said to me in the interview, right, about getting 1,000 goals, right? And I swore at him, and I went, you fucking mad, I don't know if I could bet against him. Because the guy is just...
I wouldn't.
Look
at the nick he's in.
He's just like, he's going to play for 3 more years. He could play 3 more years just looking at him easy.
Yeah.
Don't get injuries. Everyone's saying he had a bad 4 weeks in terms of goal scoring with Portugal, right? He was the champion cheerleader.
See, I put my hand up when
But if it was down to you, he wouldn't have scored 901 because you wouldn't have picked him.
All right. I probably wouldn't, but that's just because...
But why? Because 1, I don't see a number 9 coming through that should take his place right now. And 2, the geezer just scores goals. Why are you not going to play him?
I think that's important, though. I think when you do have to look at what is underneath him or behind him, where you go, okay, if you show a ready-made striker that's doing bits that should be in front of him...
I would argue, from what I saw in Qatar, and I'm not saying he's been at the same level all the time since, but Ramos...
come on.
At PSG.
No disrespect, but come on, bro. My man's a sub at PSG. He's a sub at PSG, bro.
I hear you, but when I saw Cristiano taking free kicks from the halfway line trying to score...
That's not the point.
It is the point.
Yeah, that was.
I understand that.
I think that's your time, mate. You thought the same thing, right, Jody? That means me and you definitely weren't getting that Cristiano interview.
When you're mentioning free kicks, you do have to go. Yeah, it's difficult to watch sometimes when he's taking shots from 48 yards away.
Tell me you thought that's it for him. He's done.
No, I never thought that's it, because I think he's one of those players that I agree with Rio. I just think he'll score no matter what team he's playing in, what league, he'll score. Now, is there a case that should maybe the manager have subbed him quite a few times? I think so.
So if you're Jody Morris, the Portuguese manager, right about now, are you picking him? Yes or no?
I pick him, but I certainly would have subbed him in some of the games that he remained on.
I don't disagree with that. I'll take him on. He needs to come off the game sometimes. Come out, whatever. Yeah. But this guy, if you're talking about you breaking him down, like, he's the best.
He's the man.
But he's the best goal scorer we've ever seen. Right. He's the best inside the box at everything. He could do anything you want in the box. He could go 1v1 in the box, shift it, score, left or right, bang it with both feet, head the ball like the best header we've ever seen.
Movement.
His movement is off the charts.
If he was English, right, does he get in over Harry Kane right now?
Oh, of course he does.
I'd put him in over.
I do as well.
I thought Harry Kane looked overweight in the summer and didn't perform at all. Now listen, Harry Kane's again been a world class player, had a great season.
Nasty player.
If you're comparing, like,
what, Meaty for Meaty?
Listen, I think they're past their best. But I'm just saying, Harry Kane still plays for England.
This is what I'm saying. They're past their best, but they both play for Arsenal right now. I'll put it out there.
Mate.
No disrespect, but I'm saying like,
mate, your team.
In terms of goals, in terms of, not as players, but as if you're saying out and out someone to get you goals, they're both going to start for Arsenal.
I don't know if he fits better than Kai Havertz in the Arsenal team.
No, I'm not saying if in terms of if you want goals in your team, they both play before any player you've got in your squad.
We ain't got strikers though. We got one that's always injured.
Havertz is bad. I think he's going to be your guy.
In terms of Havertz, I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think he gets in front of Havertz, but I don't see Havertz
goals,
as a number 9. Yeah, but that was his first season, and he's warming up.
But you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, and you're saying, he's past it. He's doing it. When you look at what it's like to do what these guys do in at the top end of the game for so many years, the amount of runs you've got to make and not get the ball.
Mm.
Do you know how mad that is? Do you know?
It takes a mental strength to be able to keep doing that. Lamp's had it from midfield, but you're right. He continuously thinking about next one. And to not get the ball or to not get on the end of it. I mean, we do see frustration in his face quite a lot. But yeah, he's never going to lose that. If anything, it's got stronger.
It's like I don't know, walking into a sweet shop every day, expecting to get a sweet. And the guy who owns the shop saying not today and having to walk out. You stop walking in there after day 3 or 4 because you think he's taking the mick out of me, this geezer. My man goes back every single day and says, I'm here.
No one can question like his mental strength.
Who he is.
No. Don't do that. For me, I love the guy in terms of what he's done and as a player. But I just had opinions during the Euros, that's it. But the interview itself drops on Thursday. I've obviously seen it already. But yeah, interview drops on Thursday, and I can't lie, it is an absolute banger. So please make sure you're watching on YouTube and across all audio platforms. But I just want to say thank you, Jody, for coming in today. Level-headed man. I know that, your opinions, I can trust yours, you know what I mean?
We need to talk about his career at some point.
We need to.
I think we do.
You was like a wonder kid,
Yeah, I was all right when I was younger.
I remember you coming through. Like, you're very modest about it all, and obviously.
He was the first out of my age group to play first team, innit?
Yeah.
The first. So you see the guys coming through now. Like the players that come through together, Mount and Declan Rice, etc. That was like my age group. He was the guy that played first team for Chelsea out of all of us in the first team. Like, you know how mad that is when you're looking around.
But it's not just the footballing side of your career. I think the coaching side of your career really interests me as well. And obviously your time at Chelsea.
He's here all season, man, so we'll chat to him.
Yeah, honestly, man. Guys, we will be back really soon. Well, next week, actually, with Rio Ferdinand Presents. And watch out for the Rio Meet. It's going to be exceptional. Joel Beya, Rio Ferdinand, Mr. Jody Morris, signing out. Peace.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Rio Presents. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be here every Monday throughout the season, so tell your mates and all get involved, man. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fans first at rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use #RFP on social. Make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed and you'll never miss an episode. See ya on the next one.